happiness.
What's up, guys? Tom Davis here, America's Canine Educator. As you can see, winter has arrived finally, and today's episode we're going to be talking about do's and don'ts of winter, how to keep your dog safe during winter, some fun activities you can do during the winter, and if you live in a climate that you get snow or even a little bit of ice, it could cause dangerous chemicals and a bunch of different things going on, and we're just going to go over a couple of different tips for the winter months. So one of the things that I use in the winter months, and it doesn't matter if you have a lot of snow, but if you even get a little bit of rain mixed with ice, some of the salt trucks will come out and dump all of that huge grain salt, and it could be pretty painful for the dogs. You'll notice they walk funny, or they'll stop and they'll lay down. I've had dogs stop and completely just lay down and not want to walk anymore because there's no place for them to go, especially if you live in a city or a place where there's absolutely no snow where they can jump onto. Rather than walking in the harsh chemicals and the salt. Much like if you're out in the summer and you're walking on hot pavement, if the dog can't get to the grass, they can't get that relief that they need. So it's important to keep some sort of paw protection. I use Musher's Secret just because I'm recommending it because you can find it anywhere. It's really effective. All you do, I'm going to show you in a little bit exactly how to put it on and apply it, but you basically just put it on each pad before you go out, and it gives good protection while you're out. It's good for moisturizing your dog's pads regardless if you have salt around, because in the winter, much like humans, their skin and their pads get dry and kind of crackly as well. So it's important to have paw protection, and I recommend Musher's Secret. But there's many other things that you can use. Just do your research. And I'm gonna talk about a little bit how to apply it. It's pretty simple, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Super easy. You're just gonna scoop some out. I usually do about a quarter size for each pad. And then what you're gonna do, sit, and you're gonna take that pad, and you're gonna bring it up, and you're gonna put it on each pad like this. Just rub it on, and you'll see it smear in there. Good boy. And that's it. And you do that for each pad every time you go out. One of the other things that I want to touch base on is breed-specific dogs, so dogs that are really adapted well to the winter. St. Bernards, Huskies, Newfies, just to say a couple. Those dogs are obviously genetically capable to be out in longer periods of time in the snow and the cold weather than, let's say, boxers, pit bulls, Boston Terriers, those types of dogs with short, coarse hair. But it doesn't mean they can't enjoy it, and it doesn't mean they won't. So it's important to know your dog's breed, and when you're out, there's a couple different things that you can do and purchase to have the best comfortable exercise or just a normal walk with your dog, and I'm going to go over them here in a little bit. So it's important to keep your non-snow dogs, if you will, in layman's terms, covered up, protected, and making sure that they have a good protection on them. There's many different things you can do. They have all sorts of different jackets and coats and hoodies and everything else in between to protect your dog that isn't made for the snow or doesn't even like the snow because it's too cold. So be aware of your dog maybe not wanting to go out because they're not protected enough. It's important, just like with kids or with humans, if you don't want to go outside, it's probably because you're too cold. But if you're dressed nicely and you're comfortable, you don't mind going out, much like we wear hats, we wear boots, thick stuff, and dogs don't have that unless we apply it. So it's important to keep our dogs nice and safe and comfortable when we're out. So be aware of maybe your dog doesn't want to go out because they're too cold. You might want to think about maybe a jacket for the dogs that don't have double coats like these guys or Huskies. So be breed specific about what dogs you have, and be aware of what you're doing and what you're exposing your dogs to, especially if you go out for a hike or a long activity. You want them to be as comfortable as possible because they're going to be running around having fun until they start bleeding, and then they're going to be licking their pads and stuff like that. And it's important for the aftercare too. Again, you can apply Musher's Secret at any time in the winter to prevent cracking and bleeding pads. I'm sure some of you living in low temperature states in the winter probably see some bleeding pads at least once in the season. So it's important to apply Mushers or anything else that you may use before and after and even in between. And I would recommend, if you're living in the city and you just can't get away from the harsh salt and chemicals that shops and people put out, I would recommend definitely getting some sort of paw protection, not just Mushers, but something that will protect your dog's paws for long periods of time, especially, like I said, if you can't escape the harsh chemicals. So that's really important. I want you and your dog to have a safe, enjoyable walk and an enjoyable season in the winter. If you don't have snow and ice and things of that sort, you may be lucky, you may be missing out, I'm not sure, whatever you would prefer. But I do know that there's many people, and there's many dogs who suffer from all sorts of different cold injuries and or less activity because they don't like going outside because of all this stuff that we don't recognize. So there is pet safe ice remover. And so just be aware of that too. So you don't always have to use salt at your house if you have dogs. You can use all sorts of different stuff. There's so many people out there making great brands, environment and dog free. So be aware of that as well. And I appreciate you guys following along. We're going to do a bunch of different YouTube videos on some seasons and stuff like that. We have a new, really exciting online portal for working with America's Canine Educator. For more information, you can go to my website at www.americascanineeducator.com, and I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace! Another quick thing I wanted to throw into the video, guys, is something very simple, something very easy to do, is when you come back from your walk and you're walking in a place where there's antifreeze because everything's frozen in the winter and or there's a lot of rock stalls, you can simply just take your dog's pads and wipe them down with a paper towel or a regular cloth towel. This will eliminate any surface antifreeze or any surface rock salt. And it also gives you an opportunity to check the pads and in between the pads for any kind of snow buildup as well, which is also important. So that's another just simple thing you guys can do. I just wanted to throw in there.